What's good, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in to another edition of Passion and Precision Podcast. Appreciate all of you coming through. Have some fun tonight. Got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about some NBA, some WNBA. Got to show them love. And you guys got to obviously stay tuned at the end of the episode for Final Burn to see who's making the topics for us for Final Burn this week.
There's a couple.
Got a few. So make sure you do stick around for that at the end of the show. But before we even get into all that, got to introduce my co-host, Jory Sports Stories. Make sure you check her out. But how are you doing, Jory?
I'm doing all right. It's been a long week, and I'm excited to talk some sports. Some stuff has pissed me off, so let's get into it.
All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and just get started with it. So we're going to start with the NBA, where we found out the West that Oklahoma City Thunder are now going on to the finals, which obviously congratulations to them. You know, we'll focus on them maybe next week once the series starts or whatever. But we're going to look at the team that they sent home. The Minnesota Timberwolves, you know, once again, had kind of some momentum going into these playoffs after, you know, beating the Lakers and then beating Golden State. But their season ended against Oklahoma City, which is were definitely a great team. But looking at the Wolves, though, they have some questions that they need to answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you watch the series, you watch them very closely. Where do the Wolves go from here? Like, where did they come up short against the Thunder, and how do they kind of fix some of those issues?
One, they quit.
Okay.
Two, pieces that they were Naz Reid and now Julius Randle, they're entering either options or free agencies. So they got some decisions to make. They have to look at retooling and for me, they have to reevaluate the way they do things.
Okay.
Like, is it working? Or do we need to shift to a different type of philosophy? They just, because they can't get over the hump.
So do you think that's more of, do you put that on maybe Ant as the guy, the pieces around him, the coaching? Like, where do you think the biggest disconnect maybe for them is in terms of getting to a finals?
Ant can't not play well in the playoffs and have this big old personality. It kind of comes across as a front runner. And then to say some of the things he said after,
yeah. We can get into that a little bit. Like, what do you think? Because Ant's demeanor was kind of like, I've been here now, and I feel like I'll be back here again, and I'll learn from it. That's almost the way he's taking it.
You can't guarantee that you're going to be back there.
Exactly. That's why he's kind of been talking. Like, they're talking to him. He's like leaned back at his locker and stuff. He's, you know, just doing stuff like this. I didn't struggle. I didn't shoot enough. You know, I'm sorry I didn't do it for Mike and all this kind of stuff. He's gonna work harder than everybody in the off season. Like, I think he thinks that now that he's gotten there, he's expecting to get back. And like I said, it might be another sport, but, you know, Dan Marino never got back. We've seen, you know, plenty of greats never win a title. So like you said, there's no guarantee that he does get there. And you did mention about some of their key players, because Julius Randle and Naz Reid have player options. No guarantee that they pick those up. And you also have Nikhil Alexander Walker, who's an outright free agent, so he could leave as well. I think Mike Conley has next year as his final year, so he's on an expiring contract. Like that, like you said, there could be some um, decisions that they have to make in the offseason. And do you if Randall doesn't sign the player option, do you re-sign Randall? Naz Reid, how much do you try to extend him if he doesn't sign his player option? Because he didn't have a great playoffs either.
When it comes to Randall, I'm looking at it as, can I get better than Randall? And I believe they can. Even though I will say he has been balling. Why would they trade Gobert?
Yeah, I don't think you could trade that even if you wanted to. What's going on, Key? So get Anthony a solid 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
There's plenty of teams that need a solid 2, so they're just kind of jumping in the same boat with a lot of teams. You can't trade Gobert. How do you get that number 2? Like I said, Randall's got a player option.
Like McDaniels, they might have to start seriously looking at shopping some of these players.
Okay.
Whether or not they like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just That's like, fair. They have to improve. I think they do need some more veteran presence. Mike Conley isn't enough, especially when you have Anthony Edwards and his attitude.
Don't nobody want French fry. Yeah, agree with you, Key.
Wait,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm like, sometimes they look at things in the wrong way and it comes off the wrong type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get another rim protector that can give you some points. Rudy's not going to score. I mean, look, if you're going to have Rudy on the floor, yeah, you're going to have other guys who can't score. Or Rudy's got the like we've all seen him before the game working on his handling, which I don't know how people on that coaching staff allow him to do that, because he looks awful doing it. Why is that his pregame routine? I'd rather see him working on like a little half hook or something like that around the rim, so if they give it to him, he could do something with it. Because a lot of times when he gets the ball, he like loses sight of where he is in the world and just tries the most random stuff with his body. And I don't, I feel like we've seen off-season videos from him before, like shooting threes and stuff like that. Please stop. Like, just don't do that anymore. Go call up Olajuwon, hit him up for the summer, learn some post moves. Do that. Start there. Maybe you're better off.
And he looks so goofy, and it's the same player that carved up my Lakers for what, 34?
Right. But at least in that instance, he was taking advantage of a team that didn't have any bigs. Problem is, you can't bank on that. So, yeah. I mean, that game obviously was, that was the outlier, because he never came anywhere close to that any other game.
That's going to leave a sour taste in my mouth for a long time.
Yeah, not the way you expected to go out. Like, you went out with Anthony Edwards dropping 50, you could live with that.
I could live with that. Gobert dropping 34, I cannot.
Yeah. Anthony says, what about them getting Garland? It does seem like Garland is going to be on the move in Cleveland. I'm trying to think, like, what would Cleveland want for Garland that Minnesota could offer? And then Anthony also said, would KD want to play with Anthony Edwards? I've seen this KD and Minnesota thing for the past couple of days as well. I just don't know how that happens either. It'd be it'd be a guy that, if Ant doesn't have it going, then you could throw it down to KD, and KD can create some offense. Now, defensively, you're going to have some issues on that end of the floor. But at least offensively, he's a guy who can score. Is it time to get a real number 2 next to Ant? Thanks for everything, Mike Conley. I mean, Mike Conley was never the number 2. George's going to step away for a second, so I'm going to hold it down while she's gone. Look, Mike Conley, when he first got to Minnesota, I thought it was a great move. I'm a big Mike Conley fan, but Father Time caught up to him, passed him by, and tripped him. Like, he's not that guy right now. Like, they want to keep him around as a backup to mentor maybe some young point guard. Fine. He can't be the starting point guard going into next season. Andre, also, what's going on, Andre? Anthony Key, appreciate you guys. It's easy to forget Ant's only 23, even I forget it sometimes. That's true. Ant is still very young. He's going to learn some things, from this past postseason. He's going to go work on his game. Look, he says he's going to work harder than everybody. We got to see the fruits of that next season. Is this the year Finch gives Dillingham a real shot? It kind of has to be at this point because Conley can't, lug starter minutes, 82 games, and then be fresh for a postseason run. So if this season was Dillingham kind of sitting and watching, next season, he's got to be part of the rotation and probably should be your starter. And have Conley, spare him some minutes here or there to, obviously allow Dillingham to get used to being a starter on a team that, now that you made the Western Conference Finals, will start having championship aspirations. Because once you get that close, you feel like you can get over the hump if you change a couple of things. So I would hope Dillingham gets a legit shot next year. Throw him out there, see what you got. He's doing you no good just sitting on a bench playing, garbage time minutes right now. He might be the answer. Who knows? But I think Conley's the guy that in a mentor role and all that, he will be perfectly fine. He doesn't have the ego and anything like that. Like, he will understand. Who do you think they bring back, Randall or Naz Reid or both? Okay, good question. So both of them have player options. So technically they both can come back. Something tells me Randall might not sign the player option because based off of his playoffs, outside the last couple of games, there might be a contract out there for him. I think Naz Reid would be a cheaper option to bring back. I got some serious questions about Naz Reid now. He went from best sixth man in the league to a guy that for a lot of these games was like unplayable. So I feel like Reid will be back. I could see Reid signing the player option. I don't think Randall does. And then in that case, are you going to get into a bidding war for Julius Randle? I don't know. But if you don't, that's now another guy you're going to have to replace out there on the free agent market. So if I was sitting here right now, I'm going to say Reid is back. I think Randall leaves in free agency. The Cat trade still hurts my soul. I can't believe it. I mean, look, for most of this season, everybody was looking at that trade as a win-win for both teams. I mean, ultimately, it probably did work out for both. I don't know if the team stayed as they were. I think if Randall is still in New York, I don't think the Knicks are where they are right now. But I could also probably say the same thing, that if Cat was still in Minnesota, I don't know if they make it to the conference finals. I mean, they might have, only because their path there probably opened the way for them. Like, they did luck out getting, I literally just said it a minute ago, who they play in the first round? Oh, the Lakers, duh. So they got a Lakers team that wouldn't have any bigs that would have challenged Cat. So, they probably get by that series. And then Golden State. So maybe Minnesota does. Only because of the teams that they had to play. Cat elevated them to that level. Yes. That's fair to say. But I do think Julius Randle's aggressiveness getting to the front of the rim helped him. Because Randle played differently this year than I had seen him play. So if Randle didn't play that way, I'd agree with you. I would think that Cat would have been better off there. But a lot of those games where Ant was struggling, like Randle was the guy that got them there. I don't know if Cat would have been able to do that because Cat, we know, can fall in love with the perimeter. But I feel like both teams would still do the trade over again. I still think it did work out for both of them. And ultimately, neither one of them may make the finals. So it's kind of a wash, I guess. They both make it to the same spot. Yeah, appreciate all of you in the chat. Keep the questions coming. Really appreciate it. I will say, just talking about the East really quickly. Shout out to the Knicks, not folding up and rolling over, even though they were down 3-1. They fought, got it to 3-2. I do think that series ends on Saturday. Yeah, Game 6 is Saturday. I feel like Game 5 was the emotional game for the Knicks. Now you got to go to Indiana. Indiana's going to have that emotional game. We know how that team plays. I feel like it's going to be a real track meet, and I would not be surprised if the Pacers don't win Game 6 by 10-15. That's just what I'm thinking. Now, the Knicks do win Game 6. The Knicks might win Game 7. Because at that point, the Pacers would have lost all the momentum. That'd be a lot to ask them to now go back to New York and try to win it. I don't know if they'd be able to do it. Although Cat, I guess, has some discomfort in his knee. We'll have to see how that kind of plays out over the rest of the series as well. Do you think they bring Nickeil Alexander-Walker back? I think he's going to be tough. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that will want to employ his services. So I think he's another guy that the T-Wolves would have to get into a bidding war for. I'm going to say no. I think Alexander Walker somewhere else. I mean, they're going to have to do something to a lot of content. Yeah, I think there are. I'm trying to think. I think I did another show like last week, and I floated the idea of Alexander Walker in Milwaukee or something. I think he could serve a purpose there. He'd be an upgrade over Taurean Prince and some of those guys that they have there. I think Alexander Walker could work in Milwaukee. Trying to see where else. Because obviously he's going to go to a team that's contending and thinks that they're kind of close. Maybe Denver. I say go for Derek White. I don't think Derek White's going anywhere. I think the moves that Brad Stevens and the Celtics are going to make, Drew Holiday, I believe, is as good as gone. I think Sam Hauser will be gone because Shireman can literally do the same role. I think there will be rumors about Porzingis. I'm still 50-50 on him because even if he stays, he's on an expiring contract, I believe. So they would get relief from his contract when Tatum's ready to come back anyway. So they may just run it back with him, hoping that he finally gets over that illness that plagued him for 4 months. I think Brad Stevens kind of puts Derek White in the category with Tatum and Brown as guys that he wants staying. And I think White still has a couple of years left on his deal, I think. I think it was this last year that they gave him was it his 4-year deal or something like that? I wouldn't be surprised if teams go calling for Derek White. But I think Holiday, Hauser, Porzingis might be the more likely moves. What's going on, Gene? Appreciate you tuning in. Just holding it down really quickly. Jory had to step away for a little bit. I mean, Gene, I know you probably have some thoughts on Minnesota because the chat's asked between Randall, Reed, and Alexander Walker, does Minnesota bring any of them back? Because Reed and Randall have player options, and Alexander Walker is a free agent. But yeah, so look, this offseason in the NBA is going to be absolute cinema. And remember, like a lot of this stuff can start right when the finals ends. The finals begin next week. It's like next week, Thursday, I believe. So as soon as the finals end, teams are going to get active. You got KD out there. Already starting to hear some rumors about him. You know, Giannis may or may not be on the move. I still don't know what to make of that situation. But, yeah, you know, Booker maybe on the move. You got like Cam Johnson. You got a lot of guys who could make some legitimate like difference for a lot of teams around the league. I cannot wait for it. And as I just mentioned, the Celtics will have to make some moves. They got to do something. You know, Gene, your Sixers, they're talking about some moves out there. I just hope it's not setting up to be like a dull offseason after all these rumors and stuff. So, Jory, welcome back.
Sorry about that.
No, you good. You good. Yeah, I don't know if you heard while you were away, because a lot of chat's been asking about Randall, Reed, Alexander Walker. How many of them are back in Minnesota next year?
I do think this team does face some turnover. You can't keep everybody. And then, like we said earlier, before I went off, he needs a number two, a true number two. Julius Randle cannot be your number two option and you expect to win a championship. Naz Reid can't be the number two option and you expect to win a championship. Those are 3 and 4 players to me.
I agree with that. What's up, Damian? Gobert's not going anywhere. You cannot trade that contract. Well, actually, I can't say you can't, because all you need is one dumb team. So, but I think it's highly unlikely you move him. But yeah, so I guess Randall, Minnesota, or somewhere else next year.
He wants to contend for a championship. I heard his exit interview soundbite. So where theoretically could he go that might contend for a championship? Are you saying that you want to go back to the Knicks?
To the Knicks? Well, like, would you? I'm trying to think. Like, if you were to go back to the Knicks, how would that look?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't have a spot on Boston.
No.
The Pacers, they don't need you.
Like, I've thought about Milwaukee. I feel like Milwaukee's going to have to make some changes. Because I said Milwaukee about Alexander Walker. A team like that may be interested in him. I mean, I don't see how he... Like, if Giannis stays, I think Giannis and Randall on the court at the same time would be
TV.
Interesting.
That's
I don't think it works. Yeah.
That's not going to work. And then you have Dame when he gets back.
I think it's safe to say Dame probably misses most of next season. Randall to but yeah, they're going to try to push everybody to Miami. So I guess Randall to Miami could be a thing. But is Miami even a destination like that anymore?
No, because of Pat Riley.
I kind of think Pat Riley would be a reason to go. It's just the pieces that are there. It's a mess. Like, Hero is okay, not great. Adebayo, good, not great. Duncan Well, I think Duncan Robinson probably will be on his way out. Jaime Jaquez, I think, is a good player. After that, it's just like, nah. Like, if Randall goes there, they're probably still going to be a playing team.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, you might as well keep the player option, stay in Minnesota for one more year.
Yep.
Take your chances next offseason.
Because then you go to the Western Conference. The Thunder don't need you.
Right.
The Rockets don't need you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a plate like this when you were a Laker the first time, you would still be a Laker.
I ran into the Warriors. I'd have to look at their cap situation because I gotta feel like, how does that even work?
Can't.
Well, it seems like they're gonna move Kuminga, which I still don't understand why, but like Steve Kerr just cannot stand Kuminga for whatever reason. And Kuminga's not a complete player, but I feel like he has some attributes that could work in Golden State. Just for whatever reason, Kerr does not want to play that man.
Send Kuminga to LA. Let's see what I can do.
Speaking of your Lakers, though, some rumors are trickling out there that they are going to go after a big man. And I don't know if you've seen it, but like one name is like Jared Allen.
No. No.
Okay, so Jared Allen does nothing for you.
Can we get an athletic big man?
Well, I mean, you could probably technically get one of the big men out of Dallas, maybe. Between Lively. Lively might be a little bit harder since he is the younger one, but
I'll take Gafford.
Gafford, yeah. I think Gafford is a guy who could be available. And the package for him might be cheaper than for Jared Allen. Because I figure to get Jared Allen, you probably have to move Reeves.
No, they can have Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes.
I mean, those two might get you a second round pick. I mean, look, you got to tell me about Vanderbilt though, because it seemed like when Vanderbilt wasn't there, Lakers fans made it seem like he was the missing link to get them deep in the playoffs. And then he comes back and it's like, okay, he plays some defense, but offensively, he gives you nothing. So you as a Laker fan, do you like how much do you like Vanderbilt on that team right now?
The fact that I want to trade him for a pack of crackers should tell you everything.
Yeah. Okay. I just found it weird how Laker fans talked about Vanderbilt, and then you see him play, and you're just like, he's just another guy.
There's a couple of other players on this roster that I'm just like, JJ got 50 games out of this.
Mm-hmm.
He got 50 wins out of this.
Mm-hmm. I think the trouble is if teams call LA, they're calling about Reeves, they're calling about Hachimura. Probably to start with. I think JJ would love to probably move Connect.
Oh yeah, he can go.
Because Connect clearly fell out of favor after the failed deal with Mark Williams, and then Connect goes back and it was like, oh, I want to go somewhere else, and then he like never played after that. Damian says you can have Vooch and Lonzo because Damian's clearly just trying to clear the deck in Chicago.
I don't want none of them. I've had the Lonzo Ball experience. Who was the team that drafted him? When the Fox was right freaking there.
Mm-hmm. Why is Vucevic still in Chicago? That's a good question.
Why is he still in the league?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. It's just that Chicago's 9-10 seed every year. What does Vucevic do for you that moving him on couldn't get the same results? That's all. Exactly. Yeah. Lakers need a rim protector. Vucevic in that. Yeah,
at
absolutely.
all. If I need a rim protector, why would I go get Vucevic?
Yeah.
That's the opposite of a rim protector. It's counterproductive.
Mm-hmm. But some team will take him. Vucevic has some perimeter game. Not great, but some perimeter game. Damian, someone got that man needs to be deported. Damian, it can't be that bad, Damian. Why not
I
get?
wouldn't mind Mitchell Robinson.
There you go, Mitchell Robinson. So if you could have Mitchell Robinson, Gafford, I was gonna say Jared Allen, but I know you want nothing with Jared Allen. So
No.
Gafford or Mitchell Robinson, who would you rather have?
I'm very impressed about what I saw from Mitchell Robinson the previous game, but I also know he's inconsistent.
Okay.
Gafford is inconsistent at staying healthy.
Okay.
We just had the whole Anthony Davis experience, even though that was a big.
Yes. A big, especially when Gobert did what he did. Yeah. AD looked real enticing. If AD was there, Gobert would never have done any of that.
Exactly. Gobert doesn't even have 15 points if Anthony Davis is there.
There you go. I mean, look, I think if the Lakers could get Mitchell Robinson, I feel like that would be the play. Mitchell Robinson's a guy who's going to do dirty work on the boards. You don't have to involve him in any offensive sets. Like, he's fine, scoring off of offensive rebounds, setting screens and stuff
And
like
a
that.
lob. And what does Luka love to throw? A lob.
Let's see. It's worse than the Boston Red Sox. Okay, Damian, calm down. Wait, aren't you a White Sox fan, Damian?
He has room to talk.
Don't bring that in here. Or maybe you're a Cubs fan and that's why you're talking, because the Cubs are actually having a good year. Yeah, I feel like there's some Cubs behind that one. All right. You can have your time, Damian. But yeah, I guess continuing the NBA conversation, because it seems like we're in this new era of parity, because no matter who wins the title this year, it'll be the 7th new champion in 7 years. And I think when you talk about parity in sports, there's always a split, especially for the NBA. Because the NBA, when you think of the history, it's like, oh, you had those great Bill Russell Celtics teams. And then it was like Jerry West Laker teams that were around multiple years. Obviously the Warriors from not that long ago and all that. Okay, you're a White Sox fan. Damian, come on now. You shouldn't even bring up baseball, but anyway. So yeah, like, parity, good or bad for the NBA?
It's good. And anybody who says otherwise is just a stand of one of these dynasty teams and just a bandwagon fan.
Okay. Well, quick follow-up, because you say it's good for the league. But does that mean that dynasties are bad for the league, though? Because dynasties because look, like LeBron's Heat gave you a team to hate and root against. Is that better for the league than necessarily this wide open parity league that we have right now?
No, it's not. I don't think dynasties are necessarily bad. Okay. It's great to see sustained success, but when you start bringing in the people with the dumb takes and who just clearly started watching basketball in 2015 and just don't remember anything prior to that. And I'm like, bruh, there was a dynasty before this one.
I mean, I agree with you.
Irv.
Okay. All right, Damon, I got you. He's mad about Chris Sale.
You could be mad at the Braves too. Wink.
True. We did take Garrett Crochet too, but it's okay, Damon. It's all good.
I don't think it's necessary. It's a good or a bad thing. I
Mhm.
think in ways that is good for the league, in ways you can kind of say people get fatigued of certain teams, like the
Mhm.
Warriors fatigue or the LeBron fatigue, which
Yeah.
I definitely suffer from. Go retire, bro. Man's been playing since I was like 3. He was drafted in 2003. I was
Mhm.
2.
Mhm.
I'm 24. I'm tired of the man.
Hey, he's living it up though. I saw that video of him
Dancing on the
dancing at like a
NFL
wedding
train.
or
I'm like,
something.
you are playing on my top. Sit your old ass down somewhere.
No, I mean I agree with you. Like, well, the LeBron fatigue, I think that's a thing, but he's on his way out. Whatever. I do think that with this parity led league, we're gonna probably have to start looking at dynasties a little differently
Mm-hmm.
because dynasties may not come in the form of the Jordan three-peat or the back-to-back or anything like that. It may be like 2 titles in 4 years or something like that, but consistently being a conference final type team. Because look, the Thunder may go on to win it this year, but I think if the Thunder keep their group together and are consistently conference finals in that type, or maybe make another finals or even lose like that, I think in a parity driven era, that could be seen as somewhat dynastic,
Mm-hmm.
even though we kind of only link dynasties to championships. So I think you'll still get teams that, even with the parity in the league, will still be consistently good. We
If the
just may
Knicks
not see
don't
the
get
two,
one,
3 titles
the
from it.
fans will be screaming dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's not what that word means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to have more than one ring.
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, look, because of the parity, it's gonna it'll
I love
probably
it.
spread some of the talent around. These GMs can't just sit here and waste money just signing like big name, big name, big name, and
Mm-hmm.
then filling it up with veteran minimum guys around them. Like, you have to be smart with how you pay for your roster now. Because look at
And how
Indiana.
you draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, drafting is going to be equally important now because of all these aprons and what they do in terms of limiting what you can do with your roster. Like, you kind of have to knock it out of the park with your draft picks, and that's whether you're drafting at the top of the first round or if you're unfortunately in the bottom of the round. You better find some diamond in the rough down there.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron ain't retiring until he's 60. Well, obviously that's an exaggeration, but
Is it
yeah.
really?
Look, if LeBron's out there until 60, you're gonna tell me I got like, was it 40 and like 18 more years of dealing with his fan base? That'd be rough.
You're gonna deal with his fan base until he die.
Yeah, they'll probably just move to Bronny.
Don't get me started on Bronny.
Okay.
I think he's taking up a roster spot right now.
Appreciate that, Gene. We're apparently Gene's radio today. Love that.
Thank you.
Um, I mean, yes, because I was like looking around and somebody did an article on Bronny. It was like, Bronny's season raises more questions than answers, and I'm just like, he
What
was a
answers?
bottom
What?
of the second round pick who yo-yoed between the Lakers and the G League, which he shouldn't have. So yeah, there's still questions, but he just needs to stay down there and just play. I never understood why they brought him up to just sit on the bench and just look around.
Until the
Well,
last 4 minutes of the game.
yeah,
I'm
like,
like,
what
what
is
the hell
that
is
doing for
this?
him?
We look a hot ass mess. Figure this crap out.
Yeah. I
He's
would
wasting
like,
his roster spot right now. Keep him in the G League until he's ready to make the next step. Until JJ decides he's ready to deal with him on that type of level.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Give JJ a
but
valid
unfortunately, didn't they
chance.
sign him? They signed him to like some 4-year deal.
Yes, give him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
My God, Lord. My Lakers are annoying. We don't even have a first round draft pick.
That's true. Yeah.
And we don't have one until like 2030.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like 2029 or 2030. I mean, that alone will probably force the Lakers to make some type of move to at least recoup some draft picks. Because if you're going down this road where in a year or two, LeBron steps away, you're going to need to have some type of assets to go get that next running mate for Luka, who I'm sure you would love to talk about for a quick second. Luka's looking in shape. JJ's message might have gotten through.
Yay. Because you do not need to be looking like an overstuffed marshmallow
Mm-hmm.
in a basketball jersey, sir.
Mm-hmm. But now, I mean, he does have some time to sit around. Hopefully he doesn't.
Don't put none of it back on. Actually, no, because I'm like, he needs to get his weight right to where he still is explosive and he can still be physical, but he's not clankering down the damn court.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I think he needs to find that middle ground.
The medium, yeah. Yeah.
Lucky
for him, he is a taller point guard, so that does work a little bit. I do get what you're saying, that his weight was also a contributing factor to him, being able to post up and stuff like that. Okay, Gene.
Here we go.
I mean, look, he did warn because he said like a couple of minutes ago, should he start trolling? So, okay. You know what, Gene? Okay, so this question is on the Wire to Wire page. So those of you watching, if you want to give your opinion, you can do it over there on the Wire to Wire Facebook page. The start bench cut, Luka and Tatum is up there. I put my answer on there. I will also do it here live on the show. So going forward, so I guess we'll look at that, going into next season, whatever. I am starting Tatum.
I knew that.
I'm benching Luka. I'm cutting Ant.
Why do we almost have the exact same list?
So how do you have it?
I'm starting Luka, benching Tatum, cutting Ant.
Okay. I'm sure more people would probably agree with you than me. I think cutting Ant, I feel like, was probably the easiest part of it. Only because Ant is still developing. Luka's offensive ability definitely outshines Ant.
Saying that you're going to make the Western Conference Finals again is outrageous. I love the confidence, but it is not guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. There you go, Jeannie. You got your trolling. But yeah, I mean, look, could you go wrong with any of the three? No. So I will say quickly, because I know Cottrell asked if there was anybody I would take over Tatum, and there are players I would take over Tatum. But when I look at Tatum and Luka, for me, it's Tatum's ability on both ends of the floor is the only reason why I would start him. I'm not taking anything away from Luka because Luka is a gifted offensive player. He's he's not the fastest guy, not the most athletic, but he's still pretty unstoppable.
I'm just back to being a Celtics hater. I'm just back to being a Celtics hater. Sorry.
No, that's fair. Because even if you said start Luka, like I could understand why you would say start Luka. Like Luka is a playmaking point guard that can score really well. Today's NBA,
squad ticks me off the playoffs. Your squad thoroughly ticked me off this playoff run.
And that's fair. Because look, if they were going to lose to anybody, the Knicks are the last team I needed them to lose to. those New Yorkers got real crazy. And then look at them. Now they're behind on Indiana. So maybe they should have been looking ahead to Indiana as well and not throwing parades because they beat the Celtics. I mean, look, they can hang that banner if they want. Beat the Celtics in
Be
the
like the
second round.
Colts and just hang banner after banner after
Yeah.
banner.
Yeah, you put, 20, 24, 25, knocked off the defending champs. Cool.
Be the upper quartile of the upper quartile of the upper quartile.
That series is not over yet. I did speak a little bit about that when you were gone. I do think Game 6 Pacers need to take full advantage of being at home and end it there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess around with the Game 7 back in New York.
Yep, because then if they do that and they lose Game 7, I'm getting on their ass about choking. And then I'm really going to sit here and say they some front runners.
Yeah.
That's the first sentence that's coming out of my mouth regarding the Pacers.
Mm-hmm. I think Carlisle's done too good of a job for them to lose in that fashion. Because, like, I've been saying, like, oh, go, yeah, because I'm like, I know we saw like the surveys and stuff before the season. I don't think Carlisle was necessarily up there in terms of like best coach in the league. Everybody looks at Ty Lue and Spoelstra and all these. Like, Carlisle is a very good coach.
Overrated. Can we please
look? We know where that's coming from. That's coming from his his days with LeBron and them. But yeah, since LeBron and them have not been there, that Heat team has not been impressive. For the most part.
He's a good coach.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's the best coach in the league, but yeah, he's definitely a good coach.
I think he's a very good coach.
Mm-hmm.
But he got Jimmy Butler to the NBA Finals.
True. Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see how good he is now that they basically have to retool.
It's something about Eric Spoelstra that I just cannot, I just don't get it.
I think people just like his story.
I think
they like his story.
About him.
Yeah. Going from, what was he? Like video something coordinator up to coach. Like, I think that people can kind of connect with, I guess. I don't know. Okay. What were we talking? We were talking parody. So I did agree with you. I love parody. I love the unpredictability of each year because I would love to know who before the season could put their hand up and say that they thought the Final Four in the NBA was going to be Oklahoma, Minnesota, New York, and Indiana.
Oklahoma and Minnesota, I'll give people some leeway with that.
Okay.
But the Knicks and Pacers,
right?
If you said that they were going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, both of these teams, give me $1,000 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And give me the winning numbers. Clearly, you know some I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also think it's because, look, when you look at last year and Indiana made the Eastern Conference Finals, a lot of people looked at that and was like, well, they had a lot of things go their way that allowed them to get there. The fact that they did it again this year, I do think we have to look at what Indiana has built and what they could potentially be for the next few years as a team that should be consistently top 4 in the East. Behind, well, obviously in the same group with, Cleveland, you don't expect to drop off too much the next couple of years. I think Boston will obviously have a down year next year. The Knicks should probably still be up there. The Pacers will be, and it's almost like between Detroit, Orlando, one of those next teams, like who can maybe bounce back and jump up there as well.
You know who?
And the Bucks, depending what the Bucks do. If the Bucks move on from Giannis, yeah, they're no. But if they keep Giannis,
doing that, the Hawks won't be doing an ounce of that until they get rid of Trae Young.
Oh, what's up, Trajan? Bucks have to screw around and win it all. I mean, the Hawks, look. I saw a story today where, talking about players who could get moved this offseason, and Trae Young was on the list, and I was like, yes. Would Atlanta do it? Probably not. But
no. When if they really want me to check outside to see if pigs are flying, let the Hawks get rid of Trae Young. I was already surprised when Tibbs was going 9 to 10 men deep.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, oh my God, he played more than 7 players. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we learning from our mistakes? Or are we just being desperate? I think it was a mix of both.
Yeah. It was, job preservation. Gene says Hawks need to. Yes. So I think it might be the time to don't trade because you have Jalen Johnson, who hopefully comes back from the injury next year. Like, Jalen Johnson looks like a guy to build around. Not gonna lie, Reese Shea can play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you go Reese Shea, got Jalen Johnson, you move Trae, and you build around those two, get another guard to, get those two in their spots. I think you start there. Capella's got to go too. He stayed way too long in Atlanta. You got a Kongwu who is younger, can basically play the same way. What do you need Capella for? So if you have a Kongwu, Reese Shea, Johnson, and then whatever you get in a Trae Young trade, I think Quinn Snyder would be happy. I mean, that is also an option, Gene. You could basically dump them all because, Trae would get you a lot. Jalen Johnson has created a lot of value, but I'm just going to say Reese Shea and Johnson I would keep.
And Daniels.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Daniels. Yeah. Defensive player of the year.
You have a core. You have a good three-player core. Trae's the one that you put people next to and you ruin their careers.
Mm-hmm.
That man is not conducive to winning anything worth a damn.
Yeah. Spurs are going to be so good. Dylan Harper, Wemby, Castle, and Fox. Look, the Spurs are going to be fun to watch next year.
I'm still mad at Mavericks. I'm like, how the hell did y'all mess around, trade Luka, and then go get Cooper Flag?
Yeah, just works out that way.
Nico Harrison, I really hope that all of your pillows are hot when you go to bed. And that your dog spill rubber bands all over the carpet.
But just because they get Cooper Flag doesn't mean that solves all their problems. I would want to see what Dallas does with Cooper Flag, because just getting him is not going to be like, yay, we got it done, we're going to win a title. It's like, no, you still got some things to do with that roster. Quinn Snyder's a little overrated as a coach. I guess, well, like I like Quinn Snyder. I wouldn't say Quinn Snyder's like a top tier coach. I think
he was given a bad hand in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Plus, Atlanta just needs to stick with somebody. They let Trae Young run out enough coaches.
Take the franchise. That's their goddamn problem. Trae Young runs too much for somebody who don't do nothing but shoot and shimmy his goddamn shoulders. He don't play a lick of defense.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
He is nothing but ice tray. Shoot threes. Occasionally make a little nutmeg. Taunt people in Madison Square Garden. And shimmy his goddamn shoulders. He does nothing.
No, that conference final run was the worst thing to happen to the Hawks. The lottery was fixed. Look, I get because of how it looks, that's obviously but I'm just like, you're going to fix the lottery to put Cooper Flag in Dallas, though?
I know if it was I know if it was fixed if he found a way to go to Oklahoma City. I knew
that would have been unfair at that point. That would have been unfair. It was to put Luka in LA. But I find it hard for the owners to just sign off on putting Cooper Flag in Dallas when you could have put him some other market. I mean, look, I get how it looks. I really do, because all it does is make you think about, the Patrick Ewing, Nick draft, where everybody thought that a little shady there. So the league is always going to have this on their shoulders when it comes to the draft lottery.
And there's a team in Louisiana who has a star player who is in some hot water.
Mm-hmm.
They got that pick.
Yeah, I mean, they got him after they moved AD, so that looked a little shady there. But Zion hasn't worked out because Zion can't stay on the court.
Zion is not disciplined. That's why Zion hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
His ass eat too much. He got
Mhm.
other issues with other heads that aren't on the same, that are not on his shoulders.
I mean, might have to steal Seven's parental advisory with that one.
Is it?
No, I'm not saying you're wrong for that one.
How much of Zion Williamson's bedroom activity has been made public within the past 2 years?
That's also true. He's made more news for that than on the court.
On the court.
Yeah.
In the 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
How many playoff minutes has this man played in? Guess.
I honestly can't remember actually seeing him on the court for a playoff game.
Because he's never been on the court for a playoff game. None.
And that's crazy. Like, you use your number 1 pick on this guy.
And in La La Land,
and
he can't stay disciplined. He couldn't spell discipline if it was in front of him. What?
Yeah. But I mean, he's a guy. But he's a guy who probably will be on the move. Well, if you're New Orleans, you should tell teams that Zion is available. Like, you went down the road with him. It's just clearly not going to work. The last thing you want to do is then tie into another contract with him, knowing that you can't guarantee he's going to play. We're not saying like 80 games. We're not even saying 70 games. You're struggling to get 60 games a year out of Zion. That's a problem. Mm-hmm. And, you have some pieces in New Orleans. You're not a great team, but like going down this road where it's like, well, if Zion's healthy, you can't do that anymore. You got to start it over. Take your shots with another lottery pick and just move on from there. I don't know where Zion would go, but teams will call only because
the Golden Corral,
the potential's still there with him. And they'll just say like, oh, get him in our building. We'll make sure he, gets in shape and all that. Y'all could say that, but the player himself needs to want to put in that kind of work.
I know exactly where he would go.
Where do you think he would go?
To the buffet.
Okay. Well, okay. That's like the other thing is like, well, send him to a city that doesn't have great food. You name an NBA city that isn't known for some type of food item.
Portland.
You're talking about seafood. Well, you're talking about fish, talking about seafood. Actually, that might be the way to go.
Yeah, he can eat clean up there.
There you go.
And
Sign of the symptom. The true problem is the Pelicans' management. Well, yeah, I mean, the Pelicans, I wouldn't say they're great in terms of running team.
I think it's both.
Yeah. Zion and LaMelo are perfect for each other. They can miss time together. Oh, imagine that.
Imagine that. You know how many season ticket refunds you get?
No, the younger crowd would be all into that. Those are two guys who got a lot of popularity from social media. Like they'd lose their mind if those two were on the court together. It might be for 15 games a year, but they'll lose their mind. But look, the NBA offseason is going to be must watch. Because guys like Zion and LaMelo could technically be on the move. I already said KD, Giannis might be.
Why is Lonzo talking about LaMelo should be a Clipper? LaMelo is exactly where he needs to be.
Because LaMelo's become the next player that like the media's acting like needs saving from his situation.
Okay, save him from his situation and put him on a better run team and see what happens.
Yeah. Pelicans have a lot more success on 2K than, yeah, absolutely. At least in 2K, you can turn them injuries off. You get 82 games of Zion. So, but, you know what? Let's transition off the NBA. Love the NBA talk. But let's go ahead to the WNBA. So we're going to show them some love. Let me bring up the standings, let everybody know where we kind of are right now. Because the season is still young, obviously. It's also a longer season.
Guess what? The Chicago Sky won a game.
Okay.
Angel Reese still didn't play well, but
Connecticut might get their first win tonight too. So we're off the snide. Yeah, we beat Indiana without Caitlin Clark. I don't care. A win's a win. I'll take them where I can get them. But yeah, so looking at these standings, let me make it a little bigger. Paige Becker's in concussion protocol. But what are your thoughts kind of early on in the season here? You know, you have the Liberty and the Lynx as the last remaining undefeated teams. Like you said, Chicago got their first win. Dallas got their first win against Connecticut. It looks like Connecticut might get their first win tonight. So we'll have no more winless teams. But I guess which teams are kind of standing out to you, or certain players? Like, well, let's just have some WNBA talk for a little bit here.
The Sun, I expected them to be bad. I didn't expect them to be this bad.
Like, what was it? Like David or no, that wasn't David. Like Kevin Millar said with the Red Sox, don't let us get one. Get our first win. You know, get them feeling good about themselves. Maybe they can put on a little run. But yeah, they were going to be, yeah, you can't replace your whole starting lineup and not expect some rough parts early in the season.
The Chicago Sky are the most, they look like a hot ass mess. They look a hot mess. For the love of Christ's sake, you have a point guard. Stop. Mm-hmm. I get the experiment with bringing Angel up the court. Stop bringing the ball up the court with Angel freaking Reese. Her offensive game is not there. Yes, she can pass. Mm-hmm. But realistically, what in the hell are you going for here? You have Vandersloot. You have other players that can bring the ball up the court.
So do you think it's
for you to get Cardoso going than to get damn Reese?
Yeah.
Cardoso has more of an offensive game than Angel Reese.
So could the plan be, not saying that I agree with it, you think they're trying to go for some like high-low action between Angel and Cardoso, even though it didn't work that way? Because all Angel literally did was dribble and then kind of jump into somebody trying to make a layup.
And then break that damn layup and then get her rebound.
Yeah. So if you're going to do it, then do it to open up the lane for Cardoso and let her work down there. If you're not going to do it for that reason, then yeah, don't do it. Doesn't make any sense.
They look a hot mess.
Right.
And I'm like, I really think that if you get Camila Cardoso going first, eventually Angel will catch on.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest problem with Angel in her offense is her broke-ass shooting form.
Yeah. I saw some shooting coach like breaking it down. I was like, I don't need to be a shooting coach to tell, but
what is that? She's chucking it at the rim. What is that? I got
that's basically what it is. Yeah. Because she knows she can out jump a few people and get her own rebound. Like Gene said,
and then
rebounds is his favorite new word. Like, yeah.
Like
girl, wasn't it last year she was putting out the videos of her like working on the mid-range shot? It seems like all that work's gone down.
It didn't translate.
Yeah.
And she done forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Because what the hell is this?
This guy needs
Oh,
Joanna, man.
look. What the girl?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Look.
Like, look, I give her credit if she's working on it, but keep it in your back pocket until you know you can make some.
Because one of those, like, she made a play, and it was a nice play.
Mm-hmm.
The underpass to Cardoso, who laid it up, because Cardoso had 23 in her last game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice pass, but I wish she hadn't have bricked a damn layup before doing it.
Yes. Yeah. Like, somebody in the coaching staff needs to tell her, if she gets an offensive rebound, that doesn't mean you have to put it straight back
Don't
up.
put it up.
Yeah. Kick it out.
Take it
Let's
out. Kick it out.
reset. Get into some other action, and try to do that.
If you break it, don't put it back up. Kick it out.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have time on the shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're coaching this team better than the actual freaking coach.
But the more I think about it, it's like we kind of had these conversations last year with the Fever, where it's like Caitlin Clark's a great player, but it's like the coaching staff was like, "Oh, we got Caitlin Clark, we got to do everything for Caitlin Clark." It was like you had Aaliyah Boston, who was literally a top pick, the year or two before that. Let them work together to make it easier on both, and then when the two of them start getting their two-woman game going, it unlocked a lot for Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like now Chicago's in a situation where, even though they had Angel Reese last year, but now it's like they don't know what to do to get the most out of her while getting, Cardoso going, even Vandersloot and all these. It's just like they're just like throwing stuff out there and going like, maybe this will work, maybe it won't.
They're throwing at the wall and throwing stuff at the wall and hoping
Mm-hmm.
something sticks.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a plan.
Right.
Or whatever the plan is not working, and they can't pivot.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just gonna look a hot ass mess for 40-something games. Okay.
Yeah. But it's like, if you're gonna try something, you can let Vandersloot come up the court, maybe run some pick and roll with Angel Reese, get her up top, have Cardoso down in the paint. Do a little simple entry pass from Reese down to Cardoso, see if that works. Maybe that becomes your dominant play. Run with that for a game or two.
The thing is, Damien, that wasn't that long ago. The fall from grace, from a championship roster to a hot, stinking mess.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know he says he missed, Candace Parker. I mean, Candace Parker, great player. So obviously take her away, yeah. But it's just like, you're the coaching staff. You have one job. You literally have one job. Put your talent in situations for them to be the most successful. They aren't doing that. Like, that's the biggest problem.
Like, what are we doing?
If they don't know, yeah, go ahead.
Like, what are we doing at practice? Are we just letting Angel feel herself and lollygag and shoot stupid damn layups? And as soon as I see her long ass shimmy behind the arc, I'm like, no.
Right.
No. And I love Angel.
Mm-hmm.
She's not all the way there yet, and I know she can develop into something great. I have a feeling she has the potential, right, to develop into a very good player.
Mm-hmm.
I also think her priorities out of whack right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, they seem like a team that doesn't have any structure. And that's what she needs. You can't just let her go out there and do whatever. Give her a defined role in the offense. Let her get good at that before you put more on her plate. Okay. I mean, let's talk about some other teams. I
like them.
Yep.
I'm loving the Mystics.
They are a scrappy team.
Mm-hmm. already know what the month is going to look like on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with Sabally and company, the Mercury look like they could do something. They could be if they could. There's some tweaks that they need to be done. That has to be done. But I
Mm-hmm.
like the way that they look right now. I'm loving what the addition of Sabally does for them as far as
Mm-hmm.
scoring. The Storm started. The Storm are going to be one of the threats.
Mm-hmm. Especially if Kelsey Plum keeps, dropping 20, 25 and all that at night. Yeah, they will be pretty good. I mean, you said the Storm. That was some of the Sparks really quickly.
The Sparks, they're close to getting Cam Brink back.
Right. And then we'll have to see what they look like once she's back.
Yeah.
What about the Dream?
I don't know what the new team, the Valkyries, are doing.
Well, they went about expansion in an interesting way. They have a bunch of women you probably don't even know, and for some reason that's the way they wanted to go about it. They won a couple of games. I know the projections were them probably being the worst team in the league. They probably could end up there anyway, but it's just like, it's their first season. They're feeling their way into it all. So yeah, I don't know what to expect from them at all.
The Wings, the Dallas Wings,
Mm-hmm.
they're too good on paper to be 1-5. You
True.
have too much talent that don't know how to play with one another.
That's what I was about to get
right
to.
now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like there's games where you'll watch and you'll see Arike getting frustrated. And I think a lot of that is, one, Paige ultimately will be her running mate. Paige, need a little time to ease into it, but she seems like she's ready to kind of pop off on that team. And you might see more wins, although she is in concussion protocol for I think the next couple of games. But she obviously has shown that she's going to be a player. I think with Arike, she has to become more efficient. Her shooting splits this year are horrific because she shoots like 29% from the field and like 22% from three. As gifted as she is as an offensive player, that is not going to get it done. So she either has to figure out how to get into her spots while not taking necessarily from Paige's ability, but they got to get on the same page with all that.
Pun intended.
Yes. Yeah, that was an accidental one, but yeah, I did actually mean that one. Yeah, because like you said, they're way too talented when you just look at their roster that they should not be down there at the bottom right now.
Like, if DJ Character wanted to be on a bad team, she should have just stayed in Connecticut. Sorry.
That's a fair point. Yeah. well, she made the move for one extra win right now.
The Dream. I love them.
Yes.
I'm loving what they got going on.
Watch.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
I like what the addition of Brittany Griner has done for this team. And of course, it's Atlanta. Brittany Griner's going to find her. She'll be nice and at home in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ryan
I like
Howard.
Alicia Gray. I'm a big fan of Alicia Gray.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking about. Because she made a couple of really nice plays their last game that I'm like, yep, this is a very fun team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to get Pow Pow involved.
Yep.
I love it when my rookie Steelers.
Yeah, she'll be a fan favorite in the city.
Oh yes, she has personality.
Mm-hmm.
She is what the people think Trae Young is. Trae ain't got no personality other than being a gnat and popping off on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm ready for him to get the hell out of my state.
Yes, I can. I don't blame him, but I'm the same way with him.
I can't wait till the organization be done with your bad haircut having ass.
Yeah. Nothing that I can say that could add to that. I definitely agree with that. Let's see. So I guess we'll end the WNBA conversation with this. Are we on a collision course? Liberty and Lynx in the end?
Yes.
Or, okay, I was say, I know a lot of people are looking at the Aces and how good they've been the past couple of years, even though they haven't gotten out to a great start this year.
Asia's pressing more.
Okay, yeah. So I was about to ask,
not good.
I'm about to say, because I was going to ask, do the Aces, you think they could turn it around and get back into the mix, or Liberty and Lynx is where we're headed?
I think we're headed for Liberty and Lynx, but I do think there are a couple of teams that could make things very interesting.
Mm-hmm. I know you talk about the Mercury, how they're on to something.
I think the Storm are on to something.
Okay.
If the Dream could figure this out, I think they could be on to something. I know who won't be on to none.
Yes. Okay. All right. Like I said, we wanted to show the W some love because look, the action has been great. If you're not watching, now's the time to get into it. The NBA is winding down. The NFL's still a little bit away. You're gonna have that window where the only major sport for you is gonna be baseball. If you're not a baseball fan, go check out some of the W what they got going on. I mean, it's kind of crazy that the Liberty are plus 15 point differential. Like that is kind of crazy. But
did you see that? Because Sabrina was asked a question about how many free throws somebody got. And they asked her about, have you ever seen that in the game? She said SGA.
Oh, SGA catching strays in the W now.
Mm-hmm. That was funny. I'm like, yeah, real recognize real.
It is a skill that he has. Okay, the Sun did win. They made it interesting, but they beat the Fever 85-83. So no more winless teams in the WNBA. All right, reason to celebrate. But now, let's go on to Final Burn, the part of the show you all love. So if you are new to the show, let me put this up right here, Final Burn. So this is the way that we end our show, where Jory and I will, kind of vent in terms of teams, athletes, or whoever who probably made some news this past week that kind of just got on our nerves a little bit. And you guys know Jory drives this segment. We always start with her, give her room to just let it go. So Jory, who's making your final burn this week?
John Harbaugh.
Okay.
Talking about the complexities of the Justin Tucker situation. Well, gee, Grandpa, was it complex when you decided to open your mouth when you didn't need to? Was that complex? Keeping your mouth closed and not talking about certain things is definitely not complex. It's not that hard to do. Being quiet is free.
Mm-hmm.
It's a complex situation. Fuck you mean it's a complex situation? Because when Deshaun Watson was going through all of this crap, you was the first one over here. We have zero tolerance. And now look, the organization that made you put your foot in your mouth talking about complex situations.
I completely agree with that. I don't know what's complex. I don't know what's complex about a kicker who coming off a bad year, wrapped up in what he got wrapped up in. Seemed pretty easy to me.
Complex. Is 1 + 1 a million? Is 1 + 5 7? Complex. It's not that hard. But you know why it's hard? Because the Ravens usually take care of people with character issues. And they can't sit here and say that they don't. Your damn quarterback got in trouble for stealing an iPhone charger. You kidding me?
That's as bad as LeAngelo stealing sunglasses and
China.
Yeah, I don't remember where it was. Yeah, it wasn't. That's
an iPhone charger.
Hey man, he saw his was on like 20%. He had to do something.
Do we not need to talk about one of your draft picks?
No, zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance.
Yeah.
Y'all so full of caca, it don't make any sense.
It's Steiner math. That's a wrestling thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I wouldn't understand that because I don't do wrestling.
Yeah.
The next one, Damien, I know that you are not the biggest Caleb Williams fan right now.
He sure is not.
And I understand, and you being upset with Caleb Williams is exactly why he's on this list. You should feel special. Because what the hell do you mean? Oh, I want it to be a bear. Was I born last night, Caleb? What did you not put it in that book? That you did not want to be a bear because the coaching staff. It is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you sitting here lying to people, lying to the public's face? I want it to be a bear. Shut your lying ass up. Like that. If the thing is, if you had just stuck with that, people were on your side. If I was a quarterback, one of the last franchises I want to go to is the goddamn Bears.
Yeah.
We get it. But now you're over here talking about, trying to play damage control. Oh, I always wanted to be a bear and help this franchise turn things around. And I actually shut my dad down a couple of times. Bull crap. And a lie don't care who the hell tells it. You over here trying to save face. We read the quotes. We saw the quotes. We know what you said. You're not going to sit here and act like you're not going to sit here and gaslight the general public. You're terrible at that. You can't gaslight something that's in paper, dummy. You're not dumb, but that was a smooth brain moment.
Mm-hmm. So Damon says he'll believe him when he wins more than 5 games and gets us past the first round. So Damon's laying it out there for him. You want to get Damien on your side as a fan, win more than 5, get to the playoffs, and win Wild Card Weekend. Now, I will say this for Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the prospect of going to Chicago with Matt Eberflus, nobody would want to sign up for that. So if he's saying he likes it now because Ben Johnson's there, and Ben Johnson's obviously going to put stuff in place to make him more successful, I could give him that. But I'd also say, I also don't want to hear you as a rookie talking about the place you're drafted and not necessarily wanting to be a fan of not wanting to be there or whatever. That's the kind of stuff you can keep to yourself. When you have your Hall of Fame career and you want to do your tell-all book, tell us then. Did not need to know about it.
Rookie season to forget.
Yeah.
Where you done got beat all to hell.
Yeah, when your rookie season's more known for the debacle against Detroit, when you just ran out like the last 25 seconds and nobody knew what was going on the field. Yeah, I don't want to hear about you not wanting to be in Chicago, but now talking about you love it there, which obviously
You
speaks
just
to
didn't want to get
Eberflus versus
shot.
Ben Johnson. That's all it is. He likes Ben Johnson more than Eberflus.
And he didn't want to get shot.
Everybody would.
He likes Ben Johnson and he doesn't want to get shot.
Yes. So Damian, hopefully the two of them can lead the Bears to more than 5 wins.
I just want him to learn to be quiet. I want all these damn young athletes to learn. It is free to shut the hell up.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. Free 99. Free. It costs nothing to be quiet. Just like all the people on goddamn Twitter with all these stupid ass takes with talking about SGA is better than is the greatest Thunder member of all time over Kevin Durant. And I am so damn mad at Kendrick Perkins for pushing that stupid ass narrative. Just because you salty as hell about Kevin Durant because of y'all's time together in Oklahoma City Thunder does not mean you got to sit here and act like this.
Mm-hmm.
You bitter buffoon.
Oh, I wonder who sucks at lying more, Caleb Williams or Dak Prescott.
Both.
I mean, Dak has said some kind of wild stuff, yeah.
And then I'm doing my research for today's show and everything, and somebody on damn ESPN talking about Dak is still in a developmental stage. Of what? Develop what? A playoff win? Develop that.
Wait, how long has Dak been in the league?
How long?
Hold on, I gotta look this up. You got me thinking now.
Look, I will show you the video. I'm gonna send it to you when we get off of here.
I mean, Dak's 31. Like, we gotta calm down with that.
Developing at 31 years old, your full frontal lobe is developed. Your whole damn brain is developed.
He's been in the league
Your
since
muscles
2016.
are developed. The hell you mean he's still developing? Develop a playoff win.
Yeah.
Develop a championship game. Develop that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? From Kendrick Perkins to that stupid ass take talking about Dak is still in a developmental stage. Exit stage left.
Hard to think a guy coming up on almost 10 years in the league is still developing.
On his third damn contract is still developing. Oh my freaking gosh. Y'all almost got an F-bomb out of me tonight.
Well, let's hope Brian Schottenheimer can develop old young Dak Prescott.
Right. Dak must be a late bloomer.
A very late bloomer. Yeah.
My last one.
Mm-hmm.
And because I already got on Anthony Edwards in his stupid ass comments.
Yes.
I kind of already teased the last one when I was talking about Zion, but the last one is Zion.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, why do I know what goes on in your bedroom more than... Why do I have to know all of this information? Second of all, if any of that shit is true, you're nasty as hell and you deserve to be in jail. Let's just put that at that. If any of that is true, if that is proven to be, if you are proven liable in this suit, that means it's true and your ass did it and you don't need to be playing basketball no more. Yeah. But we all know that NBA and NFL, when it comes to women, they don't give a flying, they don't give a Kentucky Fried F. Sad, but it's the truth. Miles Bridges still has a job.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr. Still has a job.
I think at very least. I
Got
think at the very
banned.
least, if it is true, we should see New Orleans move him out.
Mm-hmm.
Like if some other team wants to take that on, fine. But I think New Orleans would have to move him out if, or they probably have to move him out anyway. But if that stuff is true, that should speed up the process.
I'm like,
So I mean, Damian is kind of referencing Diddy. I'll just say after the show, look it up. Like Zion has some allegations against him that,
that are nasty.
yeah, nasty, troubling. Like, yeah.
And I didn't put a trigger warning on today's video, so I'm not gonna go in depth about that. I'm actually gonna save that for my personal podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I read the thing. I found the documents.
Mm-hmm.
They're public. That it's once things get filed electronically, you can find them easily on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I went and found it, and I saw a link to it. I read it. I'm like, you nasty MF.
Yeah. Because obviously it's
So
allegations and stuff, all that. But yeah, if
and it's
it's like
recent.
it doesn't even have to like all be true. If there's anything true in that, yeah,
Cut them.
yes.
I'm like, and the years that this went on. So you mean to tell me he was doing this to this young lady while having baby mamas and hood rats fighting in his couch, fighting at his damn house,
Mm-hmm.
and having Mariah Mills all that. Goddamn, Zion. He hitting everything but the damn gym. That's his problem. Mm-hmm. That is his problem.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline.
Yes.
You mean to sit? Let's use this one. Cause I'm like thinking with that other one that got you nowhere but in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to do better. That's why I'm always hard on his ass, because I've seen the potential since he was in high school. We were both in high school at the same time. But yeah. I've seen the potential. It just pisses me off to another level when he just does everything to make himself implode. If any of that is true, he's done.
Yeah. And yes, Damien, we understand that. Yeah. Probably can't cut him for cap reasons. But when I say like move on from him, I'm like, call some team and then move him out. You probably can't get a lot for him because he doesn't stay on the court, but get what you can for him. Because that's a headache you don't want around your organization. Once again, they're all allegations, so you can't talk about them like they absolutely happened. But if they did, don't need that distraction around a guy who doesn't produce on the court consistently for you. Cut your losses and move on to the next. I feel like the fan base would be okay with it because, like you said, well, actually, I don't want to cut in if you had more on Zion.
No, I'm finished. I got more, but I know you're gonna get on the next person, so
yeah,
I'll just piggyback off of you.
I was gonna piggyback off the Zion thing, like because you said, it's like every offseason, every sport, you get the same type of stories with these athletes, and it's like very basic level. Respect women, just respect people. Because like you said, Zion's got all this stuff with exes and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, at what point does he look at himself and go, why don't I put all this energy into my basketball career and leave all the stuff outside the court and just clean that up, make it have a boring life off the court. It works out so much better for you than trying to juggle all this that he's been doing. So I definitely agree with you there. Like it's crazy.
Thank you, Damien. He was damn dating a stripper. And we just heard about her not that long ago getting arrested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just like, be boring, Zion. Just be boring. You don't need that kind of excitement off the court. Channel that energy to actually carving out an NBA
I think
career.
he
Because
was too
right
sheltered.
now, I haven't been one. Hmm?
I think he was too sheltered.
I mean, that's kind of what it's. He got opportunity to live his life, and he just went buck wild with it.
Buck wild. Like, God.
Yeah.
Second your
I
parents
mean, not
let
to
you
make
free,
light of
you
it.
like, wow. Let me show my
Yeah.
ass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, But that's all I had on Zion. If any of that stuff that he did is allegedly true, he
Yeah, we
needs
will
to say,
definitely talk about Zion again. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Pelicans need to cut the cord.
Yes, exactly. It's like you said. If we get more details on it, we will touch on it next week or whenever that stuff is released. Yeah, so I'm just gonna talk about my squad, the Patriots, all the good stuff going on, Mike Vrabel and stuff. Had a little bump in the road where Stefon Diggs was caught on video, talking up what was it, 3, 4 women, which you're like, okay, whatever. They're just chilling on a boat, having some fun. Cardi B's probably somewhere in the background. I don't know, but he's over there holding court with some ladies. And then you just see the old baggie come out, and you're like, oh, where's this going? And then you examine the baggie a little bit more. It's a little like pink. I don't know what you said, pills or whatever. And look,
I
I'm
know
not a
what
drug
that
dealer.
was.
I was saying, like, I'm not a drug dealer. I only play one on GTA, but I knew whatever was in there. It was not good for Stefon Diggs and his image with the situation going on. So Vrabel was asked about it. Vrabel said you got to be smart with your decisions, which I think Stefon Diggs said the same thing. I heard some report that Vrabel basically told Stefon Diggs to stay away from practice yesterday because obviously Vrabel is not like Vrabel's trying to establish with the young guys on the team like you can't be doing stuff like that. So if he let Stefon Diggs do it and then show up at practice like nothing happened, that would be kind of mixed signals. So I get where Vrabel's coming from with telling Diggs to kind of stay away. I do think for Diggs, the fact that we don't have video of him like taking any of them or whatever else happened once the girls like took the bag away. We don't know what happened at that point. But for Stefon Diggs, who's supposed to be kind of a veteran leader on a New England team with a lot of young wide receivers, he's got to be way smarter than that. Like nobody's telling you can't have some fun. Be responsible. Like you have to know you're a public figure. The minute that bag came out, even if nobody was recording it, we probably would have heard about it from somebody. Like you can't put yourself in situations like that. And like I said, we'll see if any more comes from it. For right now, it just seems like he was getting the party lit with some pink stuff. Which, like I said, I'm not Walter White, and I'm not a drug dealer, except for some GTA, like dabbling in a little bit. But
The fact that he
the
said
minute
that
I saw it, I was like,
women, not to use all of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so you gonna use some yourself, you damn junkie? You a crackhead too?
Yeah. So look, don't
Once
be
you start
surprised
doing
if
stuff like that, that ain't no little weed. That's a hard drug. That's stuff that get people knocked out on the side of the street. I've
that's what I'm
seen
saying.
too much.
The minute I saw it, I was just like, I don't know what it is, but that can't be good. Because that baggie looked a little like Secret Service-esque. That wasn't just a regular Ziploc bag. And I was like, there's a lot in there too.
I'm
I was
like,
like, whoever paid for that paid a good amount.
he paid a good amount for that.
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
Stefon Diggs, be smarter. You're one of the surprise signings of the offseason for the Patriots. Like I said, Vrabel has high hopes for you with a lot of those young guys. He said himself he wants to be a leader on that team. Part of being a leader is being smart. You were not smart at all on that boat.
That put pink crystals up your nose.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised, first few weeks we hear about random drug tests, Stephon Diggs, and let's hope the man's clean. Because as well as anybody, Vrabel is not the one to play with. So, and Kraft either. Because Jabril Peppers had a little incident with some substances last year, and Kraft did not wait. Put that man on commissioner's exempt. He was away from the team until he cleaned it up legally, and then he was allowed to play. So let's hope this is the end of it. But not only Stephon Diggs, we talk about Zion, we talk about all these athletes. Be smarter with your situation. Y'all are blessed to play a game for a lot of money. Why would you want to blow it all away over little things like this that you can control? So, yeah, like I said, it wasn't too much of a final burn for me, but that was one where I think it was on ESPN or something. It was like Diggs surfaced in a video. I looked at the video. I was like, okay, he's just talking. Then the bag came out, and I was like, oh.
And it wasn't like they brought out the bag. He brought out the bag.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know, one thing is one of the girls. Yeah, one of the girls came off camera was like, ooh, want some of this? And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm like, okay, there you go. But he was like, y'all want to party some more? I was like, oh, no, not like this. So.
And I'm like, you're a veteran. Stop being a damn idiot. You have people counting on you. You have people looking up towards you. You're also coming off an injury, so you also have something to prove and something to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being an idiot.
Yeah.
First of all, in the age of social media is gonna get a lot of these people caught with some dumb shit.
Yep.
Because not everything needs to be recorded.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because as soon as I saw the pink bag thing, I'm like, oh, we taking the junkie route.
Right. I'd have been better. Like, you'd have been better off if you pulled out the baggie and was like, weed in it. I was like, okay, so y'all just about to have a little fun and chill out. I was like, pink. I was like, nah.
You messing with something that'll get people killed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, something would have happened to one of those
ladies. If something happened to one of those ladies with that, then we would have a real situation.
That's a legal issue.
Mm-hmm.
If something had happened,
and
they said, well, she got it from this person. You supplying the stuff that somebody overdosed on, a lot of people, they're making it so that your ass can go to prison for some years.
And obviously none of that has come out yet or has happened yet, so he may have dodged a bullet, but gotta be smarter. Mm-hmm. Damien said Diggs was at a Tony Khan house. Was at Tony Khan's house. Oh, I guess Tony Khan gets down like that. Okay.
All them wrestling folks probably get down like that.
Yeah. Well, this is affecting James Diggs. Black don't crack unless you're okay. Yeah. That's kind of all we had. So I guess before we get out of here, Joy, you want to tell them what you're working on, what they can look forward to? Let them know.
I do have a new article up on Passionate Precision blog. I will have some over on the Wire site soon.
Mm-hmm.
I am working on a new audio episode that should be out on all podcasting platforms by Monday or Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Well, probably by Sunday, really. But yeah, that's what I'm working on for right now.
Okay. Let me see right here. I keep forgetting to put in the description, but put that in the chat. That is the link to our blog where you can get articles blog posts from Jory and myself. So if you want to read up on some of it, also go to the Wire to Wire page for articles as well. I've kind of been doing a series going through the NFL teams, looking at their schedule and kind of setting the stage for their season. I've done 2 teams so far. I've done the Patriots and the Jets. The Jets one, I believe, will be up on Wire to Wire tomorrow, but you can check it out over on the blog right now. And I'm kind of going to go through them. Hopefully I can get it done in this 100-day period before week 1 of the NFL season. So yeah, when I get to your team, make sure you check it out and leave a comment and let me know how crazy I am with my prediction for your team. So next up will be the Miami Dolphins, but
who cares about them?
I mean, I gotta be impartial and go through the team. So I'm trying to keep my Patriot bias out of it. I feel like I did well with the Jets one. So I think I can do the same with the Dolphins.
Had you just been hateful towards the Jets.
It was hard. It was hard. It's very easy to get going on the Jets, but I kept it unbiased, I feel like. Yeah, so make sure you guys go check out, Jory's Sports Stories. For her content, like I said, that's the link to our blog in the chat. Go over there, check out what we got. Give us a follow over there as well. Greatly appreciate it. The show also does have a Discord, which I should link as well in the chat. Let me do that really quickly. And yeah, here we go.
I will say I hope everybody has a good night. And don't put ash on your leg. That's how you get a good burn.
That's actually a good tip as you get into the summer. Cookouts, fireworks, and all that kind of stuff. Be careful out there.
I just did that not that long ago. Just sitting outside, doing what I do. Next thing I know, I just feel like I didn't even know it hit my leg until it started burning the crap out of it. I'm like, ow! Yeah, so watch all. Don't burn yourself. And if you do, Neosporin and a Band-Aid.
There you go. We out here changing lives every day. That is actually a good tip.
And do not scratch it.
It is tempting. Sometimes aloe works as well.
I ain't have that.
Right. Yeah, so our Discord link for the show is in the chat. So if you want more from us in between the episodes, you can go over there, talk to us there. Check out our blog. I will be back on Wire to Wire on Tuesday for On the Ball, but you can check out my channel, Chomping at the Bit, for my stuff. I mean, I do put my articles there, but I also have my videos as well on my channel. So,
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
That's right. I was about to say, you got to plug that. There you go.
I'll see y'all tomorrow at around 6 to 7 p.m. for Hoop Dreams and Touchdown Queens with my co-host Key, who was in the comments tonight.
Yes. Make sure you do come back for that because it is a good show. And I'm usually in the comments during the show, so you can talk to me then as well. But as Jory said, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe out there. Enjoy. I guess Saturday you got the NBA. Could be the last game until the finals, so enjoy that. Start watching some WNBA.
And if you're going outside, put on some baby oil. The mosquitoes will leave you alone.
Just great tip after great tip. There you go. So, for myself and Jory, greatly appreciate you guys. Make sure you're back next week for another edition of Passion and Precision, because you got to see who makes our final burn next week. And maybe next week we'll start ramping up to the NFL season with rankings and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Will say, if the Pacers blow this series, they'll be on there.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So we'll either be talking about that, or I guess we'll be looking at the finals, and Jory and I will break that down. I think game 1 will be Thursday, so we will be reacting to game 1 of the finals either way. So you can look forward to that next week. But yes, please come back. Check out Jory and Key tomorrow. Make sure you check out the other shows on Wire to Wire, starting like Monday morning with Coffee and Sports. Get your days going during the week. A lot of stuff going on here. Make sure you follow the page. So, till next week, we're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your night and your weekend. All right, bye.